Angle is a stablecoin protocol, so USD and Euro stablecoin, and Merkle is an incentives infra tool. And so I want to talk about like savings 2.0. So the first savings account appeared with Maker in 2020 with DSR. And now it represents approximately 10 billion in DeFi TVL. 10 billion in DeFi TVL is, again, approximately 7% of the whole DeFi. So quite a lot depend on that. And so I think like the current solution of savings account is quite archaic because it didn't really move since then. And so basically it's 1 year for all. So whenever you opt in into these savings accounts, you receive the same yield as anybody else in this opportunity. And so I will propose like a new alternative to spend less for the same outcome. So it's mostly for the protocol on this side, but if you spend less, maybe you have some spare dollars to do other kind of incentivize opportunity. Something more expressive and a better user experience. So I'm just gonna do a quick intro or like repeat for some of you of how a stablecoin works in the back, because many of the stablecoin like went towards the same model. And so there is 4 pillars. The first one is a primary market. There is a primary market where you can issue or redeem the stablecoin against like highly liquid tokens. So USDC, USDT, this kind of stuff. The second part is the lending facility. So you can borrow the stablecoin against whitelisted collateral assets. And a third one is investment facilities. So most of the time, the stablecoin will invest the treasuries they own into some strategies. And the last one is the saving solution. So again, distribute protocol yield. So from the 3 other pillars to stablecoin holders. And so we're going to focus on the last one. And so how did they evolve since 2020 or 2022? Primary markets really got a bump on the IMM side, so like the way you're going to swap the assets, and also on the risk management. For instance, at Angle, we innovated a lot on the risk management side of it, following USDC peg, and many other stablecoins did the same thing. So quite a lot happened on the primary market. On the lending operation, also like here, basically like the protocol externalize this side of it to other protocols, such as Morpho, Euler, and this kind of other lending protocol, because it's basically the same job to do. And so it makes sense to have a state-of-the-art by just depending on other protocol, because DeFi is for that, composability. Then the investment side of it, there was a surge of real-world assets. So I think you didn't miss it. And so many of the protocol, the stablecoin protocol, invest into real-world assets, and they are doing some kind of like B module that invest either like in real-world assets or in DeFi protocols. And so basically, what we do at Angle, we have like a max between what you can have with holding real-world assets, yield-bearing tokens, yield-bearing assets, and DeFi low-risk yields. And what happened to saving solution? Just nothing. So something is off with that, and we're gonna check what is off. So savings 1.0. So what we currently have. So the way it works, like for the saving solution, is that there is one stablecoin, 2 tokens. So one stablecoin and one yield-bearing token. But it's actually just used as an accounting measure. It doesn't do anything else than just accounting. So basically, you're gonna, in our case, so it's USDA is a stablecoin, STUSD is the yield-bearing version. You're just gonna deposit your USDA into a smart contract and receive this receipt token, STUSD, that is yield-bearing, and that's it. That's the only thing that it's doing, and so it's complete outside of everything that the stablecoin protocol is doing. And so after that, just to emphasize on that, after that, so you've got some diversification of treasury, but not related to the yield-bearing accounting measure. And so it has a lot of flows. The first one is rigid economics. why rigid economics is because there is a rule of thumb in stablecoin protocols that you cannot give a savings rate higher than what you're lending for, because otherwise you're gonna get harmed by like advanced users, because they're just gonna borrow the stablecoin from you and deposit into the savings account. So it's a zero-sum game. Basically, what the protocol is, what the user is earning, the protocol is losing, and so it's really a bad. It would be a really bad thing to have your savings rate higher than your borrow rate. The second one is user confusion. So many times I got the question, what is the use for like this STUSD? Which one is a stablecoin? So just confusing about like this accounting measure. After that, high maintenance and complexity, just because you need to integrate two tokens to every DeFi application. And so the savings 2.0 that I'm going to present is, okay, so as it's only an accounting measure, why don't we rely on this smart contract and just do off-chain computation? And so that user don't need to opt in into this opportunity and just like receive the yield through airdrop without like interacting with another smart contract. So you keep it simple because you only have one token. There is only the stablecoin, and so it doesn't lose too much the user. And so just like the Offchain kind of component that will consume the blockchain data to distribute the right yield to the right users. And so again, as it's not at its tail, it's fine grain, you can have like different savings rates for each addresses. It just depends on what the protocol wants to do. And so what does it solve? So as I was saying, as it's like, it could be a rate for one address in general. So you don't have like the issue with the lending and borrowing, the borrowing and the savings rate rates, because you can have, you can like give a rate that depends on the user journey. Basically, if you are borrowing from us, then you will receive like a lower yield. And so you can like really have a rate per user journey. So it's pretty powerful. No development overhead because as it's highly commoditized, like the way it works in general, like the 100 plus stablecoin protocol could rely on the same infra, and so you could be like live after a go-to-market directly. And yeah. And so I just want to make a quick comparison between the two solutions, and I'm going to focus on like quite a few of them. The first one, so non-custodial, both are not non-custodial because the first one, you don't even touch the capital of the user. The capital stay in the user wallet, so it has no control of it over it. And the previous solution, so the savings 1.0, was based on smart contracts, so it's non-custodial too. But this brings like another risk for the users. Because as you need to have your capital in the smart contract, there could be some smart contract risk. There could be some mismanagement of like the protocol keys that may make your capital null in the end because it's stolen. Another one is it's more savvy because again, you have run rate, and it's more like what you can find like in traditional finance. Like in general, like having like one borrowing rate. Sorry for that one, for per user, and same thing for the savings rate. In general, you don't have one savings rate for everybody. It depends on what you're doing with this, and so it's more close. It's closer to what you would have in general. Another one that is not in favor of like the savings 2.0, but I think it's not really a blocker, is the latency. So with smart contract base, you have yield that is going through like every block, while with the other solution, it's like every 4 hours, but it's non-limiting in my point of view, because in general, as a user, you don't really need to have access to this yield like in constant time. So it could be decreased, like 4 hours, it's still quite long, but it could be decreased to 30 minutes or so. Another one that I want to emphasize is the risk for the protocol. Again, here, there is no difference because the only funds at risk, because there is this off-chain component. So you could think, okay, so it would be more risky in the way they are managing the yield we went through. But again, here, it's only the unclaimed amount. So whatever that has not been claimed by users, is at risk. But everything else that has been claimed and on like the user pockets cannot be redeemed from anywhere from the savings 2.0 solution. So it's pretty close like to the same kind of risk for the protocol too. So yeah, that's kind of like a roundup on that. So yeah, just to conclude, what I propose here is to stop this archaic solution where you just have like this accounting measure on chain, because it's just there's not enough reason to keep that against like an AVS-like solution that I'm proposing with a off-chain computation outside. So yeah, thank you for listening and enjoy CAN.